dialed is not in service at this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Good afternoon to all of you South Africans. How are all of you doing, hey? I hope all of you are keeping well and keeping fit and strong and healthy and all those awesome things. Only the good things. Another day, another dime. And I hope the dimes are rolling in, hey? In these tough times, I hope all of you are getting by and that all of you are okay, hey? And remember, if you're not okay, talk. Always talk. This is the Wayne G Show. This is Real Talk Radio, where the talk is always real. And today we're going to do some real talk. Oh yeah, we're going to get into it. Today we're going to discuss censorship, especially in big tech. Big tech are taking control, guys. They are really growing at an alarming rate. They're actually scaring the guys on Capitol Hill. Yeah, the politicians up there, the lawmakers in America are starting to get really concerned about not only the growth of these big tech companies, but the way that they are censoring and controlling what people hear and see and witness. You know, they're pretty much controlling the market. You know, Mark Zuckerberg and old Jack Dorsey. Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter. Yeah, between the two of them, they pretty much control the world at the moment, eh? Or the industrialized world. You know, the way that big tech is censoring the world and controlling what we do and see is actually quite alarming, guys. You know, these guys can pretty much dictate through algorithms what we see and what we don't see, what politics we see and what we don't see. And by doing that, you know, including Google, it's not just Facebook and Twitter, it's Google, it's YouTube, you know, they're all controlling what we see, even though we don't know it. And another thing that they do so well is through their algorithms, they can manipulate the information that is put forward to us and available to us. And yeah, lawmakers aren't happy about it. Hey, like Ted Cruz, a Republican senator, took them to task. Hey, he pretty much nailed them, especially Jack Dorsey, about the way that they are censoring tweets. You know, the way that they're dictating and censoring the media. Yes, the New York Post broke a story just before the elections on Hunter Biden, on his escapades. Apparently he took a laptop of his into a repair shop and just left it there, just forgot to collect it. And they pulled off a lot of stuff off that hard drive. And the New York Post, a newspaper that's about 200 years old, broke a story on it, and it was quite damning. And yeah, Twitter went on to censor it and wouldn't allow the publications of it onto their platform. And I think Facebook did the same. And yeah, lawmakers on Capitol Hill took huge offense to that because, yeah, these tech companies aren't meant to be publishers. You know what I mean? They're not meant to be publishers and they're not meant to be editors. And yet they're editing and censoring a paper like the New York Post. You know, that's pretty hard-hitting, hey? Because the New York Post has their own editors and they're acting as editor-in-chief of the media. And it's arrogant, hey? It's extremely arrogant, and it's also extremely dangerous because, you know, the way that censorship works is you have a panel of authority and you verify information, or you determine whether that information is publishable. And what Twitter did was, because it was right before the election and it could have tarnished Biden's campaign, they blocked it. But they never blocked anything from WikiLeaks. They never blocked Donald Trump's tax returns that were published. Yet they hide behind, that they in their policy don't publish anything that's been hacked. There's something inside of their blueprint that says they can't publish hacked material, but they decide which hacked material is right and which hacked material is wrong. And yeah, guys, I don't think that's right. I don't think that the way that that big tech is censoring us is right. You know what? Freedom of speech and the way that we talk on a platform should be the basis of a social media platform. Protecting our speech and allowing us to say what we feel, you know, not derogatory things, but you know what? If you have an opinion on something, who's to say or who's to fact check that? Yet they are selectively fact checking. And not only that, you know, they're also taken to task by the lawmakers on the way that they listen to what we do. You know, these guys are spying on us. They're spying on us through their platforms, and it's profiteering. You know, they are monetizing our data and our information, and they're selling that off to third parties. This is all about money, guys. This entire thing is a system about profit and power, the two P's, and they are highly destructive. So what they do is they listen in on your conversations and on what you post, and you know, not even when you're on the platform. Apparently they've even got information or materials or software that can actually pull that kind of data from your device. And yeah, I'm sure you've noticed it. Hey, do that test. Talk about something with a friend, or discuss something like anything arbitrary, you know, suitcases or holidays or anything that you discuss. You know, mention it to your phone. Like, say, you know, holiday destinations or vitamins or anything, clothing, certain kinds of clothing. Talk about it, and you'll see that you'll get an advert on Facebook or on Google or anywhere like that of a product. You'll see, you'll get a directed advert, and that's what they do, and that's what these third parties do. It's pretty hectic, eh? And yeah, the way that they do it, they're having to answer for it now, and I think that there's going to be some heavy legislation very, very soon on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all of those guys, where they're going to have to account. You know, they can't hide behind Section 230 for the rest of their lives, which indemnifies or, you know, frees them from prosecution for anything that is published on their platform. In other words, they're not responsible for what people do or say on Facebook, and they therefore relinquish themselves of being a publisher, and yet they're behaving as a publisher right now. The way that they are editing, the way that they are controlling, and the way that they are, like on Twitter, a prime example. A lot of posts at the moment, political posts, are being screened, and then there's a little comment section at the bottom of the post saying, we call this differently, or this is not factual, or, you know, you can have a look at it, this information is misleading. You know, they actually say it, but who are these people that are fact checking these things? You know, they've even got a system. The New York Times wrote an article on it on Tuesday, where Facebook employees want to get even stricter on especially the news that we consume on social media. So employees at Facebook are now developing algorithms called NEQ. So NEQ is New Ecosystem Quality. In other words, they're going to decide amongst themselves what news media or what news stations or news sources should appear on your storyline or on your feed from top to bottom. In other words, what is more relevant and what is irrelevant, and they're deciding that for you. So they're deciding what news content will appear first on your feed and what will appear last. And you know what, guys, that isn't right in many ways. In other words, these guys are directing and manipulating the sources of information that we're getting, and we don't even know that's happening. And yeah, I don't know how you feel about that. I don't know how you feel about Big Brother watching you all the time, or being part of that whole, you know, system where, again, the poor consumer, you and me, are the victims because we are being taken for a ride again. But you know what? Kudos to the guys on Capitol Hill for at least trying to stand up for us and fight these massive systems, guys. Big tech is a big system, eh? You're up against a massive giant, and this giant is operating with impunity. You know what? They often say in psychological terms, where a big multinational corporation or a massive corporation, if you go and compare it to a psychopath, in other words, you take the profile of a psychopath and you compare it to a company, they're very similar. You know what? They operate with impunity. They've got no remorse. They're ruthless. You know, they're vindictive. They're premeditative. All those things is what a big multinational company is. And these days, it's big tech and big media. And together, they're working on controlling what we see and how we see it. And by doing that, they can manipulate governments. They can manipulate people. They can change elections. They can do a whole lot of things that we're not even aware of. So yeah, guys, it's big business. As I said, the two P's, power and profit. That's the real talk for today, guys. This is the Wayne G Show, and this is Real Talk Radio, where the talk is always real. Peace and love.